One rider that we haven't really spoken about, but almost could have, if I had the balls to do it, could have made me, made us a millionaire, basically. Nairo Quintana. This is not, this is not sponsored by any betting shop. Don't gamble on cycling; it's ridiculous. It's the worst sport to gamble on, I think. But we found odds. So we had put money on it, him winning up the presidency, it would have been $1 million. I didn't do it. I didn't put any money on it. And then I was out cycling and saw the horrific sight of Nairo Quintana in the breakaway. And my heart sank a bit. But then it didn't happen. And but Patrick, what is happening with Nairo Quintana? This man is a Giro winner, a Welter winner, obviously had that suspension a year out, didn't do like Miguel Angel Lopez, dropped down to a continental level, then returned now to Movistar. And with Movistar, he's got a 1-year contract, but judging by his results this year, I mean, the Colombia Tour or Tour of Colombia and here in the Giro, it hasn't really been great. It's not old Nairo man, to say the least.
These performances are not good. Just straight up, they're just not. I'm trying to think realistically about what's going to happen with Nairo. He is down to do with Vuelta, where maybe he can do something there and encourage Movistar to sign him on for another year. Realistically, I see Nairo probably not doing... I don't know. I'm not sure what's not working, but clearly stuff just isn't working with him. So kind of realistically, I see that he'll probably drop down to like Pro Conti or something next year with like Burgos, Kaya Rural,
Ulti.
Polti, Bardiani, just one of those. That's where I realistically see this happening, and then he'll just like fade into insignificance. I'm very sorry, Nairo fans. That's just kind of how I realistically see it happening. The results just aren't adding up here. He's not getting the results. You can't just ride the tide of nostalgia to contracts.
Israel Premier Tech like doing that with Chris Froome. So Froome and Nairo in the same team. That would be unheard of in 2013. But in 2025, it could be a reality. Well, 4th at the individual time trial early in the year, 26th in the road race, 21st overall in that Tour of Colombia. I think he crashed out on the Catalunya, but he was sitting 32nd in that race. And right now on the rest day, he's sitting 31st in the rankings right now. I don't see him doing anything really in the Giro because he was in a perfect position here in that break. And the likes of Valentin Panapantre was dropping him. So if you can't get rid of him, how are you expecting to take a breakaway mountain stage win? I know he was saying he's thinking, it was about the breaks. That was what his goals were in the Giro. So it's not like he went in and said, I'm going to win the Giro, I'm going to get a podium. He was going in with the breakaway mentality. But yeah, he's 34. But I mean, in cycling, that seems to not really be a factor. Geraint Thomas.
Yeah, I'm not sure if age is really a big impact. And I said it last week, that age seems to have done this thing with cycling where people who are really young can do really well and people who are older can do really good as well. It's not like you just have this weird physiological peak window anymore, whereas like you need to be between the ages of 27 to 32 in order to win a Grand Tour. That is old guard talk nonsense, right? That just doesn't make sense anymore. Forget that. That's literally 40 years ago thinking. Nairo could still do well. Like G doing well at 38 is a testament to that. Maybe it's just a matter of he had a year off and he's just still trying to get his way back into things a little bit, kind of, just warming up. Or maybe it is just that he's lost it and, he's just not as good as he used to be. Which would be very sad to see because he has been one of the best climbers in the world at times. And he's won the Giro, for goodness sake, He's not some rubbish pack fodder. Like he has been a really good name at times, but that's just not where he is at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's true. The golden boy of Colombia, I would say, that Egan Bernal kind of stole his thunder with winning that tour in 2018. But there have also been other races. Flèche du Sud was won by Pim Ronhard, the cyclocross rider. This is a 1 week stage race. It's kind of like a talent scouting exercise in a way, but he won it 2 years in a row now. The cyclocross rider who's attached with the Trek team. And we also have the Tour of Basque Country for the women. And what happened there, Patrick?
Well, we are right back to SD Worx Pro Time doing SD Worx Pro Time things, because they won every single stage at the GC, and that's kind of just what happened. Misha Bladevold won the first 2 stages. The first day was from a sprint of of a relatively large size, to be honest with you. Stage 2, there was kind of like some later attacks, and she managed to hold on. And then stage 3, Demi Vollering won ahead of Felita de Jong, and Misha Bladevold came in 3rd place as well. So, it was a week of just SD Worx doing SD Worx things. Bladevold's kind of one of these weird ones. She is the European champion, of course. She won that fair and square. But she's had a very quiet year so far. But then just in this race, just boom, just seemingly just out of nowhere. She was just a domestique only like a week ago at the women's welter. And now she's just like doing insane. So this is just a thing with SD Worx Pro Time. Sometimes forget that last part, but they can just come out of nowhere. Some of their riders and just do really well because they've just got such strength and depth that other teams don't have, where some of their secondary leaders can go and get success. Like I thought, this looked like a week for me that Reusa would have just like soloed off at random points and just nobody would have chased her back. You know, that's just what SD Worx Pro Time can do, because they are just the best women's team.
But nevertheless, finishing on the World Tour rankings, the update that we normally do, and I mean, Patrick, we're seeing ever more UAE are just soaring away with this competition unchallenged completely this time, even more than years before. But any movers that you're kind of intrigued by this week?
I think Lidl Trek are doing really well because Milan's stage wins are helping out, because he gets, I can't remember how many you get for a stage win. I think about like 120 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But also, of course, Thibaut Nace in Tour of Hungary getting a good load of points there. Decathlon have moved up in this ranking based upon last year's positioning. But yeah, I can't really think of really what they've done this week. I think Kuznefroy won a race. It was just like a French Cup race, I think it was. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was. I'm sorry, French Cup races.